Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, this situation is explosive right now in Jerusalem. I am very concerned. Of course, the three Hebrew children, the three Hebrew boys that were found dead, their bodies, in the West Bank, their phone call saying they're being kidnapped, and the response that Israel has done, striking 34 Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. Well, now another boy's body has been found, this time a 17-year-old. But the discovery of this boy's body was in the city of Jerusalem. It took place, he was found early this morning. It has triggered clashes between Israelis and Palestinians in the city, further inflaming an already combustible situation in the region. Israeli police say they are looking into whether the death was a retaliation for the killing of the three young Israelis who were kidnapped in the West Bank last month. This was a Palestinian teenager. He was 17 years old, totally innocent, and was murdered. The boy's body was discovered an hour after police were notified that a Palestinian teenager had been forced into a car there in one of the neighborhoods of Jerusalem. We are concentrating on two things, Israeli police spokesman said, Mickey Rosenfeld, whether the two incidents are related, and we're looking into whether this is a crime of nationalism. Now, Palestinian television was less cautious, reporting that the 17-year-old boy, his name was Mohammed Abdu Kiladar, whether this 17-year-old boy who lived in Jerusalem had been kidnapped and killed by settlers in Jerusalem. As news of the boy's death spread, clashes broke out between Palestinian residents and Israeli security forces in the neighborhoods in Jerusalem. Folks, I was in Jerusalem last May of 2013. When I was there, of course, it was the Feast of the Pentecost time period. I was there for 7 days. It was a very peaceful time. And I walked through the old city of Jerusalem, all over it. And I also was in the newer parts of Jerusalem. I also walked through neighborhoods that were Arabic neighborhoods. Okay, I even went to the West Bank. I went to Jericho. I went to Bethlehem. I had tea with Muslim men, as well as had conversations with Jewish men, including Jewish rabbis. I can tell you that it was a very peaceful time, but there was always this underlying tension that cannot be ignored, cannot go away, and it cannot be ignored. Now, Jerusalem is, of course, a major hotbed, if you will. It's a location that is going to be and has to be confronted and will be. With ISIS growing, you have the ISIS issue. Internally, Israel and the Palestinians are seeing the death of their teenage boys. Now, if any of the Jewish people, if they kidnapped and murdered this boy in retaliation, it was a terrible, that is a terrible thing. But we don't know yet. That is being investigated. But certainly, that seems to be the feeling. Even if it's not the truth, it is truly the feeling of the Palestinian people as the clashes begin. Don't forget the prophecy of Zechariah, chapter 14. He said these few verses, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the cities shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the cities shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city." So the city of Jerusalem will be taken, and half of the city will be under the control of the, no doubt, the Muslim regimes, whether it's ISIS or the, Hamas or who it may be. "Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations. Notice it says nations because it's not one nation. It is collective nations all coming together under the black flag banner, probably of ISIS. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. There will be a major earthquake, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yea, ye shall flee, like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. Now, so the great battles for Jerusalem are yet to be fought. But as we see the signs of the times and the turmoil that's building around it, we're living truly in very tense biblical times. We're also in the 4 blood moon cycle. We've only had 1 blood moon. And every time there's been a 4 blood moon cycle on 4 high Jewish feast days, there has been war, and it's always involved Jerusalem, especially 1967 time period, and of course in the formation of Israel in 1948, and the armistice agreement that was signed, Israel becoming a nation in 48, the armistice agreement in 49, and we can go on to children of Israel's persecutions in Spain in 1492, and all the different things that's happened. Please give your life to Jesus Christ. We are coming upon we are in the end times, and we're coming to the end of days, the final hour.